Hi, I'm KK Lamberty, Associate Professor of Computer Science at the University of Minnesota Morris.
And I'm Paul Friedrichsen, a recent computer science graduate at the University of Minnesota Morris.
Today, we are going to demonstrate BuzzAbout, an educational technology to help people understand more about native pollinators and prairie flowers that has been developed over the past 3 years as part of a grant-funded project to restore an area of prairie in Morris, Minnesota.
BuzzAbout is a web app built with Angular 3 and Firebase. It runs in any modern browser, allowing participants to easily pick up and play without installing an app.
We want to start by showcasing the field guide, where you can browse the flowers, bees, and nests in the game. BuzzAbout uses artwork hand-painted by Olivia Carlson, another one of our team members.
We'll start by looking at common milkweed, an example of a flower you'll encounter in BuzzAbout. We can see its name, scientific name, blooming period from June to August, description, and the list of bees that are attracted to this flower. Next, we'll look at Rusty Patch Bumblebee, which is one of the bees in BuzzAbout. And you can see it's time active from April to October, various description sections, and the list of flowers that are preferred by this bee. We'll look at the Eastern Carpenter Bee as another example of a bee, and you can see that it has a different active time and a different set of preferred flowers. And we can look at the cavity nest, which is one of the nests in BuzzAbout, and you can see the bees that use this nest and a short description of it.
The field guide provides information players can reference before, during, or after gameplay. BuzzAbout also uses printed markers that can become flowers and nests when viewed through a smartphone or tablet in augmented reality.
Hosts can easily print markers in a variety of configurations to fit their classroom and use case. For example, landscape 2 per page, and you can choose how many nests you want and if you want the flower markers or the nest markers. This is what the markers will look like when printed.
This lets the teacher either display those markers around the room, or students can display them at home so that they have a way to look at the augmented reality portions of the game. To play BuzzAbout, the host starts a session and creates a join code for players to join, which we will show now. And then we're going to switch views so that we can see what that smartphone or tablet's going to look like. And Paul's going to enter a join code and his name and the nest number that he's going to use when he's bringing pollen back to his nest. Once everyone has joined the session, the teacher is going to move on to choosing a round. Oh, we have the wrong number, 836197. Yep. And then, so all the people would be listed there. And at the bottom of the screen there's a button for starting the rounds, and it's going to bring up a chooser. You can see different round sets. We group the rounds into different sets to demonstrate a specific concept. In this case, we're going to explore how bees are affected by different levels of diversity in flowers. So when it comes up here, we have the large display with all the flowers that are in this round, and they're all grayscale because none of them are blooming yet. And then each individual just has an indicator on their device that says, right now, the game is paused. Next, we're going to look at a pre-recorded round to demonstrate the gameplay with multiple participants instead of just Paul. We're going to start out looking at one round with 8 players. We're going to experience firsthand what it would be like to be a bee in this particular prairie setup. And the bees are active at different times. I'm an Eastern Carpenter Bee. My bee's not active yet. You can see on the timeline on the bottom of the screen on the left that we're getting into April now. My bee will be active in May. You can see on the large display as well that the golden alexanders have started to bloom, and the rusty patch bumblebee is active and able to collect pollen. If we were in a classroom setting, I would be able to see someone walking around and being able to scan things and probably bring stuff back to their nest. When I'm online, this animation is really crucial, so I can see what else is going on. Everyone can see the flower field that's shown on the left on the projected display in a classroom or shared over video conferencing for remote learners. In this example round, 4 of the players are in one shared space at my home, and the other players were spread over 3 other locations. We can see that my Eastern Carpenter Bee is trying to collect pollen. A lot of the flowers aren't blooming yet. The Black-Eyed Susan is a flower that I can't collect pollen from. Stiff goldenrod's not yet blooming. And eventually, I'm going to be able to actually collect some pollen. So, in the upper left corner of my display, there's three little yellow circles. Those will be indicators that I've collected some pollen once I have some. So, here I'm going to actually get some pollen. And then I'm going to carry that pollen back to my nest and deposit it in a moment here. You can see that my pollen in nest counter went up to 1. So I'm basically just going to go between the flowers that I know I can collect pollen from and my nest so that I can collect as much pollen as possible. Um, we want to allow kids to collect up to 3 pollen before they can't carry any more. My bee doesn't have that many flowers that can collect from, so I'm just going back and forth and I'm not going to ever reach that full capacity. If you did try to collect pollen when you already had 3, you would get a message telling you that you need to go to your nest before you can collect more. We want kids to walk away understanding that there are lots of different kinds of bees, that the bees are active at different times, and that they need flowers where they can collect enough pollen to bring to their nests to support that next generation of bees. Once a round ends, the players are going to all come together for discussion just to talk about their experiences, which will be different since there are different bees. In a participatory simulation, it's important to both dive in as a small part of the system and to step out and understand that system as a whole. So all the elements of the Buzzabout game are meant to help support that immersion in and transition between these different perspectives. So this has been a demonstration of Buzzabout. You can try Buzzabout for yourself at buzzabout.app or visit our GitHub page for more information.